Today must be a very special day, because today I am casting a game of Terran versus Terran in StarCraft 2. I know, this is crazy. This is one of those matchups that doesn't really get recommended to me a whole lot. So real quick, in the top right-hand corner of the map, Data C. Playing with the yellow SCVs, we have GuMiho. His opponent, with the red Terran pieces, he goes by the name of ByuN. I had to chrono boost out my intro there, because these guys both decided to start off this game by sending a worker towards the other side of the map. Absolute classic. So here's the thing. Terran versus Terran, generally speaking, it's not one of those matchups that gets recommended a whole lot to me. In general, actually, the mirror matchups in the game just don't seem to be as popular as Zerg versus Terran, Zerg versus Protoss, and Terran versus Protoss. GuMiho's still gonna go for a proxy barracks, by the way. Okay, anyways. What I'm trying to get at is that whenever a mirror matchup gets recommended to me, and especially a Terran versus Terran, it usually is an absolute banger, because the average game of TVT is usually not quite as exciting to watch. So whenever someone does recommend a TVT for me to go ahead and cast, it turns out to be a bit of a crazy one. Anyways, let me get this straight. So both guys started off this game by sending a worker towards the other side of the map right away. They met in the middle of the map. ByuN was on attack move. GuMiho was on move command. I don't know if they were intending to go for a bunch of proxies on each other's side of the map. But either way, GuMiho looked at that and he was like, you know what? If you're on attack move, you're going to be chasing my SCV around. So I'm still going to go for a proxy in the middle of the map. The scouting worker, or at least now it was a scouting worker, is now still in the top left-hand corner. He doesn't have enough gas to go for like a... Okay, proxy supply depot. Absolute classic. Maybe he's going to go for the proxy factory here in a little bit. Either way, wouldn't be surprised if GuMiho is the main reason why this game was recommended to me, because there's no denying that this guy likes to play a very, very aggressive StarCraft 2. Now, luckily here for ByuN, the proxy factory and proxy barracks shouldn't be the biggest of deals, because he also did decide to open up with one base himself. My main question at this point is whether or not this Reaper is going to scout anything. Oh no. Classic GuMiho. ByuN is scouting for proxies. He's taken a weird route towards the other side of the map, but sadly for him, he just did not scout anything there. Yeah, that's really too bad. He's gonna... Okay, see the lack of natural, so he'll probably be going back home. GuMiho's Reaper currently waiting here in the tall grass. Fair enough. Command Center does start up on the low ground here for ByuN. And in the meantime, GuMiho decides to go for a proxy starport. So let me get this straight. Out of like the 5 structures that he's built so far, GuMiho has put the majority of them out on the map. Alright, let's see how this goes. 2 Reapers ready to start harassing here. There are 2 Reapers available as well for ByuN. SCV in a little bit of trouble. 1 worker over here as well, just to try and soak up a couple of those hits. Hellion at this point though is available, but there's also 1 already here for GuMiho. So GuMiho has to be aggressive here, right? Like, he can't really just he can't just sit idly by, because if that's the case, he's in a lot of trouble. Good control right there, though, by Micro Jackson himself, obviously. Yeah, that control by ByuN is ridiculous. Okay. Well, in the end, you know what? With the reinforcements now coming up, I think this can still be justified here, yeah. There's a Widow Mine building as well. And obviously, keep in mind, there's also still that starport in the top left-hand corner. Liberator building out of that one, so that one's soon going to be harassing the main mineral line of ByuN. And at this point, there's not a whole lot of anti-air available. Now, luckily for ByuN, he's already thinking ahead. He's decided to go for... Oh my god, he canceled the command center just now. Anyways, he decided to go ahead and build a Viking. So the Viking is going to be very important, because those Marines, when the Liberator gets microed well, they're going to have a very, very tough time. Hey, Gumi. Gumi, can you do the thing? Yes, he's gonna do the thing. I've seen GuMiho do this in like half the games I've casted featuring him lately. GuMiho is actually climbing through the ranks, playing these crazy builds. So he's now going for a proxy fusion core as well. And while, ooh, there's a bunch of damage being done over here as well. While I do believe that his ground units will eventually get cleaned up, especially now that the Cyclone is out. I think that the Liberator also got shut down. Scouting barracks over here. GuMiho is not done piling on the pressure just yet. So I do believe that ByuN is overall considered to be a little bit better than GuMiho right now. But GuMiho just... Look at the minimap right now. GuMiho just plays such fun StarCraft 2. This guy has got structures building all over the map. And he's still playing macro on the back of this. Double gas right now in the natural. Fair enough. I love this. Big fan. All right, there's the battlecruiser coming up. ByuN in the meantime, right? Cowering here. He's kind of just sitting back. He's got a hunched back right now. Terrible posture. Just trying to take control of his own main base. Whereas GuMiho, the Giga Chad himself, is taking the entire map as his main base. Which I love to see. Yeah. Yeah, ByuN definitely seems a little bit more scared in these types of games. But this is the way that pretty much everyone that goes up against GuMiho plays. They know that the guy is, yeah, kind of crazy with some of his decision making. But I personally love it. So there is a Benchy coming up. Believe it or not, Benchy not particularly helpful when it comes to dealing with battlecruisers. Battlecruiser will be available in a moment as well, and I actually like this a whole lot better. So ByuN is actually transitioning towards additional Cyclones. And Cyclones, especially with the lock-on improvement upgrade, they're going to be pretty strong. So did he not see that? Okay, no, he did. So he just sent a Benchy towards the top left. He did spot the fusion core as well as that starport, so that may very well be the reason why he decided to double down on the Cyclone tech. Either way, battlecruiser is available. Obviously, battlecruisers have tactical jump, so they can go back home. It's a pretty long cooldown, but obviously if you make it on the other side of the map, you can use it defensively rather than offensively. Scan here, though, reveals the amount of units available, and I've got a feeling that there is quite a bit already here for the Terran player in red to deal with this. Nicely done. Where do we go? Okay, we're just going straight towards the natural of the Terran in red. I mean, you can't see the direction in which that guy goes to the other side. In the meantime, though, Benchy has arrived with Cloak. Scan is available. Good shutdown right here by GuMiho. Yeah, he's going to have... Well, he still lost a bunch of SCVs actually in the natural. Man, there's so much going on in this game. Anyways, he's still going to be able to defend this here eventually, but... In the end, this is now a pretty even game. Just a bit of a crazy one. One of the problems you run into right here if you're ByuN, right, is do you know how many battlecruisers GuMiho is going to make? If it's just a single battlecruiser, do you really want to double down on Viking Cyclone production? Like, if your opponent is just going to go for, like, a standard follow-up instead, how well is that really going to be? Like, how good is that army going to be in the mid-game if you have still a dozen Cyclones sitting around? Spoiler alert, not very good. I mean, you can obviously harass with them, but as soon as, like, the siege tank marine count grows, it's a little bit shaky. So difficult for the Terran in red right now to decide exactly how much he wants to make. Then again, he's going up against Gumi, and GuMiho, when he goes down the battlecruiser road, he generally speaking keeps walking it. So there's a BC in the bottom left-hand corner. I'm a little surprised that ByuN didn't realize the direction of... He must have been looking at the Liberators instead. Oh, sorry, at the Benchy of his instead. Anyways, I'm a little surprised he didn't recognize the direction there that the battlecruiser was flying. This one is going to go straight back home. And I think that this one will probably also be joining in just a moment. Surprise! Honestly, these BCs have been dealt with really well. You need to get out, dude. Oh my god, we're gonna Yamato? Yeah, you're super dead. That was a questionable Yamato. I thought we were gonna just harass SCVs, and then as soon as the Vikings showed up, we're gonna teleport back home. Anyways, in the meantime, Benchy still being annoying. Scando. Oh, not needed, actually. The detection is already there because of that missile turret. Whew, okay. Fusion core tonight in the top left-hand corner. Got a feeling that this proxy supply depot, the thing of legends, not gonna happen. Nope, it will also get destroyed. Alright, looks like we've got a little bit of time to breathe, but GuMiho, in typical GuMiho fashion, is now gonna go into additional factories. Right? Why play bio tank? I was just talking about marine siege tank into, like, you know, maybe a bunch of other things later on, right? Maybe Liberators, Vikings, that sort of stuff. No. This is, of course, GuMiho we're talking about. He decides to go straight into Terran mech instead. That does mean that after a very exciting early game, GuMiho is now going to be forced to play rather passively. Data C, of course, though, is fantastic with a couple of those siege tank spots. It's going to be very difficult for a bio player to be pushing in. GuMiho also, by the way, is getting that upgrade here for his Cyclones. Even though he doesn't have a whole lot of them yet. Apparently, at the very least, wants to have the option to transition towards more of them. There's no way, ByuN. Okay. Thought for a second he was just going to walk in there. But this is not an army that you can beat when the tanks are already sieged up. Okay, so we've got Terran mech going up against Terran bio. So ByuN is doubling down on an infantry-based force, whereas GuMiho is going to go for all of the heavy hitters instead. That does mean that, at least normally, in a conventional game of TVT, the mech player is going to be the more passive player, because ByuN has way more mobility on his army. I'd say normally, right? That's normally what we see in a game of SC2. I'm assuming that's what GuMiho is going to do, but then again, it's GuMiho. Yeah. I mentioned this on a previous cast featuring GuMiho as well. But he's actually my favorite Terran right now, this guy. Like, I love it whenever people can do crazy stuff at a very high level, right? So, I'm a big fan of crazy StarCraft 2 in general. But most of the people that play crazy build orders, right, they don't climb very high. I mean, I was gonna name a couple names, but then I'm a jerk, so I'm not gonna do that. But, generally speaking, the cheesier pro-gamers, the pro-gamers that play very aggressive games, maybe they'll do pretty well for like a tournament or two, or they can maybe snatch a couple of victories in online cups or something like that. But when they go up against the best in the world, and ByuN is certainly ranked amongst the very best, they just get shut down hard. And GuMiho plays crazy builds. This little exchange over here is also not quite conventional, huh? He plays crazy builds at an incredibly high level. Alright, ByuN's still roaming around. Let me actually just look it up on a league like real quick, what their current rankings are. So ByuN apparently currently considered to be the rank 9 in the world. So he's actually, yeah, going down a little bit in those world rankings right now, because I believe he was like the rank 6 earlier, like last week. Maybe earlier there. I was going to say earlier this month, but beginning of October, not going to work. Anyways, so GuMiho right now to rank 14. So, yeah, and this is not just a bunch of guys playing fun strategies, but as soon as they were to go up against like Amaru, they would get absolutely destroyed. That's not the case. Well, Maru's Terran versus Terran is phenomenal, so maybe a bad example. But you get what I'm trying to say. All right, this guy will be able to get him out of there. Are we going to boost Metavix through the freaking missile turrets? Are you kidding me? That was an absolute doom drop and a half. Yeah, that was not as successful as I would have liked it to be. There's a whole load of siege tanks there in the back as well. All right, poor Marines. Maybe ByuN hoped that there would be a big Cyclone army, so he could, like, bait the Cyclones and the Hellions in the range right there of those siege tanks that he had sieged right here on the low ground, but that was maybe a little bit too much, ByuN. Not a huge fan of that. Anyways, once you're committed down the bio route, though, I think ByuN has to stick around on his army for some time as well. Yeah. His best bet at this point is to try and basically play like a Zergy approach, right? Where your main goal is just to prevent the opponent from really properly expending and just letting them mine out while taking the entire map yourself. So I think preventing this fourth base is very, very hard, because on data see the 4 bases here that you start off with, like in your nice little quadrant of the map. These are very difficult to break, but I think ByuN will probably try his very best to prevent the 5th base ever from coming up. In the meantime, by the way, he's already secured his 4th base some time ago. He's doubling down on the barracks production, and he's building a 5th command center as well. So he is just continuously expanding. He wants to have that economical advantage here for the foreseeable future, knowing very well that he's not going to trade efficiently, but also knowing very well that his opponent is going to run out of juice in about 5 to 10 minutes or so from now. So action here is on ByuN for the time being to keep GuMiho pinned back. But GuMiho is building what is considered to be a much stronger army overall. So in a direct battle, I do believe that... Oh my god. These doom drops are wild. In a direct battle, I do believe that GuMiho is going to be, yeah, quite a bit stronger. But obviously, he's not going to be able to replenish his army as easily. These drops are, yeah, kind of rough, man. At least for the bio units in red. I don't know if they signed up for this, but they get destroyed. I don't think the traits are bad, though, because, again, ByuN is just building significantly quicker. Now, going into 3-3 upgrades. Hold up. What just happened here? I'm going back. So, oh, there was a little drop over here, too. I was going to say, because of all the blue flames, I couldn't properly see exactly what was going on there. Thought for a moment GuMiho, like, attack moved on his own siege tank. I was going to say, that makes no sense. Anyhow, ByuN camping out in the middle of the map. GuMiho has scans available to continuously see where his army is located. He also has a center tower in a brilliant position. So anytime there's a Terran army moving around in that radius, he is going to be able to get nice blips to see exactly what's happening. Okay, this could actually be a juicy drop right here. Those siege tanks are clumped up together. He's only got tanks of his own there. I was gonna say, if those were Marines, he definitely would have dropped them off. Anyways, battlecruiser now from the early game. 13 kills in total. So that's not bad. One SCV here in yellow as well. Somehow made it. I don't know why this guy's here, but there's an SCV here in the bottom right-hand corner, currently repairing that BC back up to full. It's gonna take a little while. How many Vikings do we still have? 6? There's also still 3. Actually, no, those are... No, there's 0 Vikings, actually. Okay. Those are the Vikings from GuMi instead. GuMiho now also making a move towards the other side of the map. A lot of these games get decided by the guy who sieges up the tanks first. So siege positions are absolutely critical. There's a little bit of a move over up north as well, I think. Just scanning and making sure that there's nothing too crazy going on. But yeah, now the siege tanks in range of this army. Gonna be in a pretty good spot. Siege tanks, though, rolling down the low ground as well. Unsiege tanks from ByuN actually cleaning up a lot of this. 17 workers do find their death over here, but ByuN, most importantly, cleans up that army. He's gonna have 3-3 finishing here in about half a minute as well. But honestly, he's got a very mechanical army of his own, too. I don't know if you want to be running up that ramp, though, dude. There's a lot more siege tank on the back of this. Yeah, GuMiho, you're not gonna be broken over here. Oh my god, ByuN decides to double down. I don't think this is the right call. He just does not have enough units. Interesting. Battlecruiser in the meantime, by the way. Still going to town. How is GuMiho's production at this point? Yeah, so he's got a lot of units building here all of the time, and now the supply counts are even. Sure, the upgrades here from ByuN are quite a bit better, but the main problem here is that he cannot really properly face off against his army in yellow. I mean, he's gonna try. Back off. Yeah, so GuMiho will probably just unsiege the tanks in the back and then slowly move forward. He's really trying to force an engagement right now, though. If you look at the siege tank count, it's, well, 14 versus 4. There's a couple of Marines and a bunch of Marauders and whatnot available, too. Okay. I don't like this position for ByuN. In a straight-up battle, you're not going to win. He does have a bunch of tanks here in the back. Okay, slowly moving forward. He's got a bunch of tanks in the back. Maybe he could be moving those a little bit further forward too. But honestly, at this point, it seems to me that GuMiho can take on ByuN's army with like only half his units. Ooh, a lot of damage being done. That hero battlecruiser, man, 24 kills. Yeah, providing a lot of vision here as well to allow those siege tanks there in the back to just, yeah, deal maximum amounts of damage at maximum range. This command center is in a lot of trouble. Now the BC is going up north. There are Vikings popping out of starports. Yamato cannon once again, and I'm assuming he's going to tactically jump all the way back home. So this bad boy will be repaired back up to full. GuMiho, in the meantime, has secured that base up north. ByuN has put a pretty big army together, but honestly, that's a planetary fortress. There's no medevacs or anything, right? Because he's been forced to rebuild a lot of his Vikings to deal with that BC. Stimming forward here, but there is just so much... Yes, this damage here. There's so much firepower here coming out of GuMiho. Units desperately stimming back home to try and keep this base alive. Even the Vikings now land, and that is always a desperate moment. ByuN, it's GG on the keyboard. And it's GuMiho who obtains the victory.